Well, have you missed me? It's Dom Palayo checking back in. It has been a little while. I had kind of a flurry of activity toward the end of 2025, but it is now January 4th, 2026. Lots happened in the last few weeks. My job got really kind of chaotic. There at the end of the year, we had normally I work in a team. My boss, me, and two other ladies that that we had. We had one of them had left. One of them was let go a few months back, and so we were looking to replace her. Then in November, in the middle of November, the other lady left, which just left me and my boss. And going into the end of the year, we're trying to hit, last minute, trying to hit some goals toward the end of the year. Just got really chaotic. But I'm back and I'm ready for 2026. I've got some big goals to hit this year. 2025, I was really focused on paying down debt. I did a really good job at that in 2025. I got a lot of unsecured debt off of me. I still have a little bit to take care of, actually. I'm going to work on that this year too. But my main goal financially for 2025 is building savings and including retirement savings. I've already requested they withhold an additional 5% for my work retirement plan this year. Normally people will only ramp it up 1 or 2%. I'm aggressive, so I did an additional 5%. I'm kind of waiting for that first paycheck and be like, ooh, but we'll make it. We'll make it. I've got, I do have a bonus coming the next paycheck, the Q4 bonus. So, that'll help. I'll probably fatten up my checking account a little bit, with that, and, kind of pad some of my goal accounts too. I've got it all mapped out for this year. I know exactly week by week what I have to do. People know that I DoorDash in the evenings. My minimum is 500 a week. I'm dashing 2 hours in the morning before work. Then getting set Monday through Thursday. My goal is to hit $75 a day, Monday through Thursday. So that's 300. Doing 100 on Friday evening, 100 on Friday, and then 100 on Saturday. That gives me Sunday. I can take off completely, or I can run it up a little bit. But my goal is to hit 500 a week. So, I don't know what you guys think about when I first heard about Venezuela. I wasn't real enthused when I first heard about it. As most of you know, I did vote for Trump. Most of us voted for Trump to deal with things here at home. I don't know what it is about Washington, D.C. It just seems like it's impossible. It doesn't matter who you vote for, whoever you put in there, it's either you vote Democrat and you flood our country with millions of people from other countries, or you vote Republican and we go on international adventures, and we're all just so sick of it. It's like, why can't we just focus on fixing things here at home for the American people? And it just, our politicians just don't seem to want to do that. It's like, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. It's very frustrating it's just very, very frustrated with that. But, it turns out, it looks like Venezuela went a little bit better than expected. As most of you know, they were able to fly into Caracas and grab Maduro and get out. That was amazing. It's like that they were, and without any casualties. At least any American casualties. I'm not sure about the Venezuelan casualties, but it's that was pretty amazing that they were able to do that. I was pretty flabbergasted when I heard that. I think that that makes it a little less cringy. I'm still sitting here thinking, what's next, because the whole Venezuelan government is full of Chavistas at this point. Um, so just taking out the one guy is not going to really fix that much. Now, Trump is saying we're going to make sure that we get a decent government in there, but how are we going to do that? We're going to be putting boots on the ground in Venezuela because that's what it's going to take to do that, to have any authority there. So I'm waiting to see what the next steps are. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see on that. Um, Here at home, consider me an optimist. I know people are hurting. I know people are. It is prices are high. It is expensive out here. But at the same time, I'm going to be real honest with you, and this is just my honest opinion. I am so sick and tired of hearing everybody whining. I mean, yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's hard. But Americans have got to stop looking to the government for the solutions. Number one, I don't know when American people started. Oh, we want to be like Europe. We want to be like Europe. We want this big broad safety net. What you have to understand about Europe is there are trade-offs for that. There are some big trade-offs. Go to Europe and try to find a job, for example. It's not easy to find a job. It's wonderful to go live in Europe if you don't have to work, if you don't have to look for a job. But go to Europe and try to find work. Not an easy thing to do. There's a lot of red tape when it comes to employment in most of Europe. Some countries are a little bit better about it than others. I lived in Spain, and you don't want to try to move to Spain and try to find a job. You don't even want to be a Spaniard trying to find a job. Not an easy thing to do. There's so much red tape around letting workers go that it makes it very difficult for companies to make the commitment to bring someone new on board. So, we in America, we have a lot more flexibility in terms of hiring and firing. Companies generally it's a lot easier of a process, so it makes it a little easier for companies to hire. If they get in over their head, if they take on too much payroll, they can let people go or lay people off if they need to, if they get into trouble. In Spain, there are laws that make it a lot harder to do that. Well, that's why in Spain, I mean, they've almost perpetually had an unemployment rate well over 10%. In some areas, a lot higher than that. I was down in southern Spain in Andalusia, and some of those provinces down there have unemployment rates approaching what we saw in the Great Depression, and they've been having those kinds of unemployment rates for a long time. It's not easy. It's very, very difficult. So you have to understand that there are trade-offs for those safety nets. You're taxed out the yin yang in Europe for that. So anyway, here in the United States, we have a very free. It is a free market. We have a free market economy. The best thing that you can do for yourself, if you find yourself struggling, I would recommend going to a community college, taking some courses in the evening, take some computer courses, better your skills, get some improve upon your skills. Maybe learn if you don't want to do like office type work, go and learn how you can go to a community college and learn plumbing or how to be an electrician. You could learn how to be a mechanic. There's a million things that you can learn how to do. And those are jobs that AI is probably not going to be able to touch for some time. So, Americans have got to quit whining and go and learn how to do something. Go and improve your skills. Get some know-how. Um, I'm even looking at myself in that department. Um, the good thing is I'm turning 50 this year. I can't believe I'm saying that. I turned 50 this year. My dad is turning 75 and my mother is turning 70 and I'm turning 50 all in this year. It's really hard to believe. This path we call life. Um, my grandmother, my dad's mom, passed away back in 2011. That was 14 years ago. And my grandfather, on my dad's side, passed away 23 years ago. And now my parents are starting to get into that age range where I'm starting to worry about that. And it's like, wow, life, this life is very fleeting. It really is. It goes by quickly. And I'm just thinking 10 more years, I'm going to be 60. I'm like, no, but I've had a good life. I have had a very good life. I think back on my life and it's like I had a really good childhood. My mother was a stay-at-home mom for the first 10 years of my life or so. And I was really fortunate to have that. She really worked with my brothers and I and in teaching us and helping us learn to read and how to count and all of that. I remember I went into kindergarten and I was even back in the early 80s, I was way ahead of a lot of the other kids when I started school. And it was all because of the effort that my mother put into teaching me when I was little. And as I went through school, I didn't go to the best schools, unfortunately. Kind of grew up in a small rural town in central North Carolina, quote unquote redneck town. I hated middle school. Middle school was a very difficult period in my life. Um, I think a lot of the experiences I had in middle school made me a little introverted. I hadn't always been introverted. I became introverted in middle school as a result of a lot of the things I went through. I was fortunate to grow up in a healthy church environment. Most of my good friends when I was a teenager were at church, and I had some good friends there. I it's like that period of my life was a really good period for me. I have good memories from it. At the same time, there were some painful moments too related to all of that. And I don't think I ever really quite recovered from all of that. I think that a big part of the reason why I'm alone now, I'm a single guy. I'll be 50 this year. I don't really plan on getting into another relationship. And a lot of that has to do with some of that back in the day. I've been married twice and divorced twice. And as I reflect on all of it, there's a key moment in my life where things could have gone right and they didn't. And that was my fault. But then I tried to course correct and I tried to force relationships that shouldn't have happened. And to be honest, I probably shouldn't have gotten married after I lost someone that was really important to me, someone that meant something to me. I lost, and it was my own fault. But I tried to replace her with other people, and it just never worked. It was never right, and I never, it shouldn't have happened. Um, I'm glad that I had my children. I don't regret having kids at all. I'm glad that I had kids. I think I would feel a lot worse about my life if I had never had children. There's so many young people today that are not interested in having kids. And I'm like, that is such a huge part of life. And I think that's going to be something they're really going to regret later on. They may not regret it now. They may not see that now, but I think as they age, they're really going to feel bad about that decision. Um, it has been expensive. Kids are expensive, they are, but I don't regret it at all having my two kids. That's been one of the better parts of my life, to be honest with you. I've been fortunate to have had the opportunity to live overseas. I lived in Spain for a couple of years. When I was 19, I went to Spain for the first time and stayed there for 2 years and came home. 21. I was turning 21 the week that I came home, and that was a wonderful experience for me. It opened my eyes to so much. I've traveled back to Spain 3 times since then. 3 times. 2002, 2018, 2021. Yeah, three times since then. And I'm looking forward to going back. I think my next trip will probably be in 2030. My Piper, my youngest daughter, she wants to take a trip over there after she graduates high school. So that is something that we have on that I'm thinking about and I'm kind of saving for. Both of my daughters would go with me over there. That would be fun. It would be fun showing them around my old haunts and things, and so that's kind of my game plan when we travel over there. I've told them, because I don't know how often they're going to get to Europe. I have two different ideas. We could focus on Spain if they want to, and there's some really neat places I could show them around. Or if they prefer, since they're in Europe, we could see a couple of cities in Spain and then bounce around Europe a little bit. Because flights within Europe are cheap. So I could take them to Madrid and Seville. They really need to see Granada though. I need to take them to the Alhambra in Granada. There might be 3 cities in Spain that I would need to take them to. At least those 3. And then we could bounce maybe over to Rome, visit Rome for a few days, and then maybe bounce up to Paris and London. I don't know. We'll have to plan that out, and that's going to be kind of pricey. So I got to start saving for that. With 3 people, that's not going to be a cheap trip. So I'll start socking money away for that. I have, what else do I have going on? I have been pretty fortunate with jobs. I mean, I've had jobs that were terrible. I think all of us have had jobs that were terrible. I think my least favorite job that I ever had, it was either a tie between my first financial services job. I was there for 3 months, got my licensing, and got out. It was horrible. They basically sat me in an office and handed me a telephone book and had me cold calling. I was working 70 hours a week, getting paid $1,500 a month. That was lovely. Um, then I was working for Blue Cross Blue Shield for a while. Horrible, hated it. Being on the phone all day, one call after call after call, one after another, that drove me nuts. I don't know. I think I kind of lost. I got so sick of that. So had to change jobs there. But anyway, we got out of there, and rest of my career has been fairly good. I had some decent jobs in banking and all, but all the jobs kind of get old after a while. And I feel like the job I have right now, my intention is to stay there for the rest of my career. I think my boss, he's 2 years older than me, 2.5 years older than me. I'm probably going to retire at the same time that he retires. I think that he'll probably work into his mid 60s, probably. And I can retire when he retires. That's my goal. If I need to, I can maybe DoorDash a little bit. to supplement my income if I need to. I'm hoping I don't have to. I'm trying to set up income streams right now in my IRAs, dividend. I'm kind of going to be building a dividend portfolio in my Roth. Um, really start building income generating portfolios for later. So where I'll have a pretty strong income flow that will supplement what I'm getting from Social Security. I am a little bit concerned about the economy and where things are going in the world right now. It's kind of hard to know. The world's changing, and I still have a lot of belief in America. I mean, you look around the world, there's still no place that I would rather invest in than America. And there are some places that are seeing some growth. I think India is a pretty decent place to look at for investment. Europe has some places that are starting to see some growth. Spain has actually had a good year this year with its stock market. Its real estate market's been on fire. They've actually seen some pretty good development and growth there. I may consider putting some money in. There is a Spain ETF. Not a recommendation. I'm just saying there is an ETF that is you can find ETFs that are country specific, and I think the Spanish one is EWP. I think. Anyway, I used to have it in my portfolio. I do not currently own it, but I wish I had this year because it was up pretty big this year. But I didn't have it in my portfolio this year. But I may look into putting some money in there. Although I'm a little bit leery with the Spanish government. Spanish government's a little, they're a little bit socialist. I'm kind of. I don't know about that. So you have to watch these socialist governments, man. It's it's easy to vote in a socialist government, hard to get out of one. It's like that's the problem with socialism too. It's like it's easy to get them in there, vote them in, but then when you try to change and course correct, you see what's happened with Venezuela. They voted in Chavez, and they have not been able to get rid of those people. They've tried, they haven't been able to do it. It's just that's usually the way socialism goes, unfortunately. I am really trying to get myself geared up this year. My goal is to lose 30 pounds this year. It's really the carbohydrates. I've noticed when I start eliminating those carbs, how my weight comes down. It's pretty amazing, actually. It's like it's always been those stupid carbohydrates. It's like I'm trying to stay protein focused, and I lost like 4 pounds last week, and it was just all cutting out the carbs. So when I do eat, I have some whole wheat bread downstairs, and I eat that at breakfast time just for a little bit of energy during the day, because you need some carbs for energy purposes. Although there are people online that will tell you don't need any carbs at all. I think that's a little bit So I will eat a couple of slices of whole wheat toast in the morning with eggs, and I'm drinking whole milk, and I've got protein shakes that I use during the day. I've got a steak downstairs I need to cook for tomorrow for this week. I've put it with some spinach and fix a little salad to go, and put some steak strips in there, and a pretty good lunch. And yogurt. I'll usually eat yogurt at some point during the day. Greek yogurt, not the sugary yogurt. So anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but just my message for this for Americans right now: put your nose to the grind. Let's get to work. Let's start learning some skills, improving our skills. I think instead of whining about how expensive things are, I understand it is. It is high out here. The reason it's so high is because we have very successful people out here making a lot of money. I see them every day. I That's all we work with are people that are making loads of money. That's what I'm working with every day. Are our clients that we work with. Some of them are retired, but some of them are actively working. I mean, we do have a lot of doctors and lawyers and business owners and people that have really busted their butts and have made something of themselves. Um, I really think, we need people learning how to do trades. I would highly recommend that, looking into that, especially if you're in your 20s or 30s. It wouldn't be a bad idea to go learn how to do wiring. Learn how to be an electrician or plumber or something like that. Um, I think that those are pretty decent career paths if you are looking to change jobs. Office work is, you have to be kind of the top of the top. With in terms of white collar jobs, the people that really make the money are the people that are at the top. Even master's degrees, people don't make what they used to. If you're a very social person, very a good communicator, look into sales, because you can make a ton of money in sales if you're a good communicator. If you're good with people, you can make a ton of money in sales. Um, so anyway, I'm gonna check out. I got a few things I need to get done this evening. I'm gonna probably go to bed early so I can get up early and do my morning routine. But this is Don Palayo checking out. You guys have a safe and happy 2026, and I will be doing another video again soon. Have a good one.